right, all right. We are here. We are here. We are starting off. We are in progress. So, welcome, guys. We are here for a special, um, episode of Redeeming the Time tonight. Um, ask that you bear with me a little bit. My throat is kind of messed up, so hopefully it won't be too big of a problem. But tonight, as we see in the title of our show, um, we are going to be talking about either the biggest detriment to people the world over or the biggest boogeyman to people the world over. But we're going to try to hash that out and see what is what and which is which and how we're going to move about tonight. But the title for the show is Racism, the Great Truth or Deception. Which one is it? And we're going to talk about that again tonight. So we're going to have a panel tonight. We're waiting for a couple of us to show up, but do my, as they say, the due diligence of it all, and we'll welcome everyone in here. I see that we have Seeing Beings in the building. Shirley Epps is here as well. Smitty Corner is here, and also I see that we have Rogue C in the building, and good to see everyone here. We're expecting a few more, but as we get started here, I'm trying to wait a couple more minutes until these things get populated out. But Sweatbread's in the building. What's up, bro? How you doing? Um, yeah, me as well. Yeah. So I'm glad you could make it, man. Glad you could make it. But with that being said, hey, we just appreciate everyone being here tonight. And like we do, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna open up this in a word of prayer. So that being said, let's go forward. Father God, we just thank you for this day. We just thank you for just allowing us to be able to come together, to be able to have these discussions, Lord, and be able to look at things and view them not only what's going on in the world, but through the lens of Scripture. We just ask that you would just give us your mercy and your grace, that we might be able to have the conversation and be able to discuss these things with the context of a critical thinking mind as well as an empathetic heart. We just thank you for all that you have done for us. In the Master's name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, we thank you. Amen. All right. So, on to the stage here. We are going to bring up one of our first guests tonight. That would be, hey, salute, the Wandering Prophet Von Bryson. Welcome, sir, welcome. But the first person we're going to bring on stage is our guy, Von Eric.
Hello.
What's going on?
All right, doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Ah,
That's everybody in the chat. Pray all things well.
oh yeah, it's been pretty good, man. Hectic, crazy,
Yeah,
but good.
I know that's right.
Yeah, man. It's you know how it is, and it seems like as we got ready to do this show, it's like everything just seemed to be going crazy, trying to
Happens
get
all
the show started. So,
happens all the time. Yeah.
so it makes me wonder: should we really be having this conversation, or should we just go ahead and call it a night and shut the lights off and tell everybody bye and go home? I'm like, if all of this was happening leading up to the night, it's like, good night. Just say, bump it, man. Let's go. We just call it day. Go sit down. I think a game was on or something.
Right. Yeah.
How you been, bro? How you been?
Oh, pretty good. All is good. Not been a hectic week, but it's been a good steady week. That's about it. Helping people, help a couple friend out, had a surgery.
You doing all right?
Yeah, she's doing all right. Yeah, she had a
Okay.
back surgery.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she had screws and some screws, and I forgot what the other she said, plates or something. I know she said she got to go through the TWA. They're going. She go
Yeah,
through any.
yeah,
She go,
yeah. You got to tell them ahead of time. Hey, look,
right,
they have to
right,
let her go through the special
right,
stuff, man. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I know about the back stuff. That ain't no fun. That is
Yeah,
no fun at all. Ooh, my
yeah.
heart goes out to her. And thoughts and prayers
Yeah.
and
Oh man, and this is the second one.
oh,
This this is the
the
second
second?
one. Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. This is the
Wow.
second one. But the
Just
doctor told her the first time that she was most likely going to have to get it again when she did it the first time. I think the doctor was against her getting it.
well, the deal is they will tell you. Um, most people, if you have a good doctor, they will tell you don't do it.
Right.
They will tell you do
Right.
not do it because, and they will run. Neurologists if they're good. If you can tell the what do you call those surgery trigger happy neurologists folks because all they want to do is operate because it makes them a ton
Right.
of money.
Right.
But if you catch a real good doctor, they'll tell you, look, if you do this, there's no guarantee that this is actually going to help.
That's
This
what she
might
said.
it might help you part of the way, but there's no guarantees. This, that, and the third.
That's what she said.
I was at that point where I thought I was going to have it, and I did my best to stay away from it. And I went and did spinal decompression instead. That works. That works. They did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a spinal decompression, and then they did stem cell injections into
Oh
the
wow.
area, so they could. What they were doing was because I had like a ruptured disc, and what they were doing was they were rebuilding that disc back, and so they were like, "That's going to help you. That's going to fix you, and that should put everything back." They go, but as you get older, you know, your body starts to break down. So they were like, you can't. You just need to be careful. Make sure you do. Once everything was done, they're like, be careful. Make sure you do. Um, stretching exercises every day, and make sure you don't try to lift stuff like you 20.
Right.
So,
Right.
so it's like, okay, I won't. I'll stay
Right.
away from that.
That's
But
true.
most the docs they'll tell you, like you said, because if you more than likely what they probably did was they probably did a spinal fusion to it. That's what it sounds like they did with the spinal fusion, which is basically they removed the disc out, and then they basically, because your spine is supposed to move and be able to flow with you and everything else. And what they probably did was they locked it into place. And when it's locked into place, there's certain things you can't do. You just won't be able to do. You won't be able to bend over as much anymore. You won't be able to get things, do certain things. They'll even tell you, like, if you ride roller coasters and stuff like that, you need to stay up. You need to stay off all of that kind of stuff because you don't want to jar all that stuff up. Because with those, it kind of locks you in and everything else, but the wrong thing and the wrong roughness, I guess you could say, because one of the things they'll tell you is that you don't want to get in a car accident, right?
Oh wow. Oh,
Because what it can happen is if you get into a bad, or you get into certain car accidents, and it might not even be like a real bad one. It could be even something like but if you get smacked the right way, you can end up severing the spinal cord.
Oh wow. Because of the
And
surgery?
you
You got
literally
the
get
surgery?
because of that fusion and
Oh,
everything else, and those metal plates that sit there, because they don't sit inside, they sit on the outside, and they basically fuse two of your vertebrae together, or three of your vertebrae. It depends on what they do. It's like how bad it had to be. And so,
yeah, because I could feel it. I could feel it, the metal on her
yep,
back. I was
yep,
like, God.
yep.
I was like,
So she
wow.
has to be, muscles and stuff will grow over it in time and stuff like that. But still, it's there, man. It's there.
Oh wow, that's something else right there. But I guess when she was in so much pain, she just wanted to get it over with. No, she just
Yeah,
wanted to get speed from it. So
yeah. That
I
that
was,
pain ain't no joke, man.
yeah.
That pain there, that is no joke. You you bear with that pain. I wish that on nobody. I don't care if I hate you to death. I don't wish that on you.
Right,
I don't
right.
wish you to death. I don't wish that on
She
you.
said I know when I was helping, she was like, I never knew how much important the back is. Because she
Hmm.
was like, move your arm, certain all of this brings was she was like, I never knew how important the back is. I was like, wow, for real? She was like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's something else,
Sitting,
man.
moving your arm up in the air, side to side, all of
Hmm.
that can is with the back. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
because each one touches a specific nerve, and each nerve, helps to operate certain things. But then it's not like most people think. It's just the muscles, right?
Mm,
Even when you like lifting weights or whatever else, you don't realize how much you arch your back when you lift weights,
wow.
and how much or even just doing curls and stuff like that. Even when you're walking, right? If
Yeah,
you're
just
walking
basic walk.
fast, walking fast or walking, you don't realize how much, even in your stride, how much you're doing and how much it takes with the muscles in your back. You know,
Wow. Wow.
it's crazy. But
Yeah,
hey,
that's
Vaughn,
crazy.
welcome, sir. Welcome to the stage. How you
Hey,
doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm blessed. How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, doing
I'm
pretty
blessed
good.
too. Yep, you
Good,
blessed.
good, good. Yeah, I just wanted to get up for a bit and be a part of this conversation, see where it
All
goes.
right.
Try to
Well,
basically learn a few things. You know what I'm saying?
hey,
Yeah.
here we are, right? And I
Here
guess we
we
might as
are.
well, pull out. Got to go old school, right? Pull out that bottle of casserole and everybody get ready for that spoon.
Yeah. Hey,
Get ready for that spoonful. And so I tell you what, I will go ahead, and I guess everyone is doing fine, everyone's doing okay, and everything else. We will kick off the first question of tonight. It's a very simple question. Some people say it has a very complex answer, and that is, what is racism?
wow. Okay.
We
Well,
hear that term. We hear that term talked about a lot, right? And
yeah.
we hear it used and that was the premise for the show, right? We hear it used all over the place. We hear it used, off and on, all over. What is it? And feel free, whoever wants to take the stage first.
Okay. Well, I took time to look it up as a definition,
Okay.
and the definition that I was able to find, it says it's prejudice or discrimination directed at someone based on race or ethnicity, often rooted in the belief that one's race is superior.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have some characteristics of racism as well, but I guess we'll get into that. But that's basically the definition that I came up with.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Von Erich, what say you?
Uh, Man, that is a complex but a simple answer, but it's still complex because it changes so many times. Um, I would say when a person feels superiority against another person, which can be, it could be because he has power. I could be race against another person's gender, or I could be considered racist because of my arrogance, because I believe I'm above people or somebody. And it could be like what Von Bryan just read off in his definition. But I do, well, we're going to get into that more stuff.
Well, I heard the definition. I like the definition. But this is the one that I normally go to. I'll post it in here. This is the one that I'll go to this one, right? And that's it. That's what we get, and it's pretty much equal to what Von's saying. Minus the portion with hate. And a lot of people, and we got to be very careful with this, right? Because a lot of people believe this, but they don't hate people, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you'll have the discussions being made that when people think that way, they have a byproduct of hate behind it, right? In some cases, they do. We can't deny that, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is that there are people that actually believe that, but don't hate anybody else. They just believe that they're better, mm-hmm. Right? And so,
yeah.
When we look at that,
it happens on both ends, right? It happens on both ends of the spectrum, right?
Yeah, it happens on both ends of the spectrum. It happens, and here's the deal: it happens against all quote unquote races of people. It really does. Now we look at it exclusively through a lens here in the States, but when you leave the States, and you start to travel the world, you realize how big this is. You don't. It's not as much of a quote unquote black and white thing as much as it is just wherever you go, right? There was a big thing that happened back in the 80s between those who were, I believe it was Ethiopia and Somalia, I believe it was, that were having a problem. We hear about the area where it was, they did a movie on it. Don Cheadle was in it.
Are you talking about the Rwanda thing when he was in
Rwanda
the hotel?
thing? Yes.
Rwanda? Yeah.
Yes. Those are two different races of people. Yeah. And they could, and although they were both quote unquote black, or considered to be black, they hated each other with a passion. Right. But you saw the same thing between Italians and Spanish. You saw the same thing that would happen between the English and the French, right? Considered themselves two completely different races of people. You even saw it you start looking at the areas in the Middle East. Iran and Iraq cannot stand each other. They fought like cats and dogs until I don't think they ever stopped, really. But it's just not on the forefront. It's just not on the forefront for everybody's. Right. You see the Chinese, and you see the I believe it's the Uyghur Muslims, right? You see that. You saw the Chinese and the Mongolians at one point. Chinese and Japanese fought against each other so bad, especially during the time before World War II, that they made movies about it. Right? It was so bad, right? And even to this day, there is animosity between those who are Chinese versus those who are Japanese.
Even within the race, like in Italians, you had the Italians, the North is against the South.
See,
that's it, and even
right. and that's what I. But even with the Italians, they were what and here's the deal. It wasn't a matter, and this is where we started. Remember, we talked about this, and we said we talked about words meaning things, right? It wasn't racism with them. It was more what? Prejudice.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
right? How many you see the go back and watch Godfather and see how they talked about quote unquote Sicilians. It was awful. It
Right.
was crazy.
Yeah,
Right?
because that's the northern called the southern mutts.
Yep.
They was called them mutts. I was like, oh
Yep.
wow.
Yep.
I was like, whoa.
It's like how you gonna throw that out there like that, right?
Right. Brother, man, we the same people. Y'all mutts. We are Puritans, the northern.
Yeah.
We are Puritans. Y'all are
And
mutts.
why do they call them that? Because the southern part of Italy, that area around there, right? When there were the invasions that would happen, they would be the first ones to get attacked.
Yeah.
And
they
they mingle. There you go.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Same with the Irish. You got the Southern Irish and the Northern, because they mixed with the English and I think the Northern mixed with the English, and they against each other. Either
It was against you. Some of them against each other to this day.
To this day,
right?
yeah. That's,
I mean, you go back and you watch, you go watch Braveheart.
Yeah.
Right? It talked nothing about what the race of the Scottish versus the British, right? And all of the things that went down over there. That was flat out. It was racist.
So basically, we could say that racism is individual and interpersonal, right?
Oh yeah.
Also,
you see what I'm saying? Because definitely we see it, and we're not dismissed from racism because we're black.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because we all have our own biases.
Right.
You see?
Well,
some of us some of us can't stand white people. You see what I'm saying? Because we think that we're and somehow better than them because of things that they've done, which makes us better. But racism exists on every end of the spectrum, and it's individual, and like I said, it's interpersonal. So
right.
And that's why I think it depends, and that's why I wanted to get this, and that's why I said it. That's why I wanted to have this discussion, right? Because the phrase "this person is a racist" is quick to be thrown out, right? But when you sit down and you think about what is a racist, well, a person who's a racist, for the most part, has to believe in racism. Okay, so what is racism, right? And when you start to look at what racism truly is, well, racism and prejudice is completely two different things, right? And you can be prejudiced against someone but not be racist toward them. And you can be racist against someone and not be prejudiced toward them. And but when you group the whole thing together and you put it all together, then you say, okay, this means this, and the majority of the time it's being used to shut down conversation. It's being used to shut down the things that are being brought to, in many cases, things that are being brought to light. Right.
Okay. Now, have you ever seen or heard a little snippet of Louis Farrakhan breaking down the word racist? Have you ever heard that? Brother Vaughn, you probably have. And if I'm not mistaken, he said that, well, one who is given to art, we call them an artist, and one who is given to sculpture, or we call them a sculptist, or and he went on with various things, and he said, well, I happen to be one that's given to my race, which makes me a racist. I don't know if you caught that when he said it, and I said, wow, what a play on words.
It is a play on words.
He did skillful that.
Oh man, and forgive me because I may not have quoted him exactly, but you get the gist of it, right, brother?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that before, and I sat back and I shook my head behind it. And the reason why I did, because that's not what a racist is. But you can say it. But that's not what a racist is.
Yeah, exactly. But just the clever play on the word.
Yes, he
itself,
did. He did that. Yeah, he's
you know.
skilled.
And I said, wow,
Yeah,
how
he did.
masterful, you know.
Because
Yeah.
because here's the thing, right? When you really think about it, that's for him, that's not even true. Right.
Right.
Well, it's not really true. For him, it's not black race above all. It's what?
Yeah.
It's Nation of Islam above all.
Right.
So he technically operates in a pseudo theocracy, right? Or religious cult, one of the two, right? But that's what he operates on. Even then he doesn't operate in race. He could say all kinds of things that are, you let him talk about Jews, and it's out there, right? But yet and still, what they'll say that he is, they'll say that he's anti-Semitic, right? And so it's like, okay, and he'll say, yeah, and right. So that's a talking point behind that. And to that, I think because I didn't have, so I know that Mo and Intellectual Soapbox, Mr. 84, best in the world, I think they had wanted to be on this panel as well at one time. So guys, if you will throw in your emails into the chat, we will send you the link so that you guys can come up if y'all want to.
Do you want me to try to post it in the chat, or you would like?
I don't want to post it in the chat because it was only a handful of people that was supposed to be on the panel.
Okay,
regardless.
Got it.
And so I was trying to make it a conversation type panel, and we'll discuss and debate, because I know, and they had spoken to wanting to be up, I remember. And it's kind of one of those things that if you go too far and you put too many unknowns, now you got arguments and fights, and I didn't want to do all that.
I know we have 84 in the chat. I don't know if he wanted to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he had said he had wanted to be up.
Oh, I can send him the link.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
And then if you 84, if you want, you can forward it over to Mo. She had one, because I remember she had said she wanted to be part of it. But that's if you guys want to be up here or not. So
I also think because we just defined race, but it's just like black people, black or white is actually not a race. But since we live in a social system here in America, they applied the color as a race. But is it actually? It's not actually. Black is not an actual race, and white is not actual. A yellow is not actual race.
Correct.
But that's a construct that came up within a society and started defining race as a color. And see, that's why I said it changes so much. And then the way the law system, it's like the birthright when citizenship. First one, I think it was at 1780, when it defined the citizenship, and they said free white with good character. But the way the social accepted that, meaning, oh, well, when they saying white, it means white skin, and it actually doesn't.
Right.
White can mean status, black can mean status. Like the woman, I think the woman, she was in Oklahoma. I forgot her name, started with an R. When she got that money from the oil, her status became white. Even though she was black, she became a white status citizen within Oklahoma. She was able to ride on the trains with the other people that was white, but actually had money. So it also depends on where you at and how the group of people that you're around define it.
And can we also, I think we would be remiss just talking about racism and not acknowledging some of its characteristics. You see what I'm saying? And what I have found to be some of the characteristics of racism right, is, you know, this loose use of slurs, right? And we hear that oftentimes. Stereotypes is another one. Harmful assumptions, right? And also unequal treatment in social, educational, or professional settings. You see, these are some characteristics that we see, right? Conscious or unconscious biases, you know, that affect behavior and judgment.
Right.
And so these are some of the characteristics that definitely I can say exist. I don't know if you quite see it that way, Brother Ann or Brother Vaughn, but you know, you may come up with a couple of other characteristics, but what do you see
Well,
as the characteristics of racism, since we're on that particular point right now?
well, okay. So for me personally, a person like Nick Fuentes is it's a perfect example for me of a person that's a racist, right? So does, like, you want to go old school, David Duke, right? Uh, what's his name? Who was Senator Byrd, who was uh, ranking Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan,
KKK.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can name racists. I mean, you want to go to, I mean, that, and I gave you one from current and took you all the way back on different. There are people who and I think this is where things start to diverge, right? Because, and that's why I said we kind of start to confuse prejudice with racist, right? And that's why I was kind of adamant about saying it early on, which is a person can be prejudiced
between the two, right?
Yeah, but not racist. But yet,
I think
still, a person can be both. But
Right.
a person can be racist but not prejudiced, and that's why, you know, we had I've kept the definition up there so long, because really and truly, it doesn't have anything to do with, when it comes down to racism, it technically has nothing to do with
prejudice,
a person's feeling, or, you know, or anything like that. They just believe that their race is better, that their race is the better race, right? So now you have people that, and I think when you start to look back at it and everything else, it had something to do with certain things that we know from on a historical end, but then there's other things that even happen throughout the world today that's not on the historical end, right? So for example, right, a white person can believe that they are better than every race of people. They can believe it. They can believe that the white race is better than every race of people. And a black person can believe that they better than white and everyone else, that they are the echelon. If we didn't, you wouldn't have people that are quote unquote pro-black, and you wouldn't have people that were quote unquote pro-white, right? Where if race above all, you wouldn't have those sets of people at all, right? But when you start saying someone is racist, well, then a person who is racist is just spewing what they already believe, that whites are superior, blacks are superior, vice versa. Hispanic, you know, the screaming of the La Raza and everything else, right? Mexico about you have all of these different things that you have. You go overseas, you see a lot of the same stuff where people believe that their race is superior and their race is the best, right? Okay, that's what you believe, right? But does everyone believe that, or is this just a one person, or even a subset of people that believe this? And I think this is where we start to have the problem. Once you start to blur the lines about something being, I believe myself personally that people are more prejudicial to others than they are racist to others. That's what I have seen throughout my lifetime. I've seen people be more prejudicial to others than be more racist to others. Not that I haven't seen people be racist. Don't get me wrong. I've seen that. But I have not seen people be more racist than prejudicial. I'll give you a good example. If you are walking down the street and you see some jokers crowded around across the street from you, and they look at you, right? They see you walking, you see them looking at you walking, right? Then as a group, they come over there towards you. What's your first response?
My response?
Brother,
First,
say that again, brother. Say it again.
If you are walking down the street,
yeah,
and there's a group of people across the street from you, a little bit further up the street, they're across the street. And as you walk across the street, you see them turn and start looking at you. Okay? And you look over at them and you see them looking at you. Right? So you have acknowledged that they exist. And they acknowledge that you exist. Right? And then as a group, they all come walking towards you. What's the first thing you do?
Well, definitely, I'm going to wonder, what's up with that? You see, at first I noticed you're staring, and now you all are coming at me. Yeah, I might think that something's up with that, bro.
Yeah, if it, well,
depending on what the group is,
right?
Because we do have stereotypes, like I said earlier, and it's kind of like when you pull up to the stop sign, and the black person walks across the street and you immediately lock your door. You see what I'm saying? Because of that, that's a type of prejudice right there, based on stereotypes, right?
Well,
because it's assumed that we present, danger or trouble. You see what I'm saying? And that's how some white people see it.
I think it all depends.
And it all depends too, Brother Ant. What neighborhood am I in? What group is approaching me?
See?
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, all of that has to go into play, right?
Well, it depends. It's if they men or boys. If they men, I'm looking and saying, but it depends on how many. Because if once I see how many, I got
about 5 deep.
Oh well, I probably run to fight another day. Depends on how big they are. All that goes together. I probably hustle out of there and fight another day and come have to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And listen, that goes for that if I was in a white neighborhood and that occurred and the white people were coming at me.
Stop right there, Vaughn. Stop right there.
Because I was going somewhere, but go ahead.
I know you are, but I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right at that point in time. You hit, boom, you stop. You put the flag in right there.
Right. But I wanted to say too, brother.
I never said
I was in a black neighborhood as well.
I understand. I understand.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna let you finish. But here's the deal. I never said what they were.
Yeah, so that's how it's hard for me to answer because, I don't have something to go off of. You know what I'm saying?
Why would it wouldn't matter? Black, white, Chinese.
Well, actually, that's true. That's true. Because like I said,
depends on. But that's my point, though. Because and here's the conversation, and this becomes the hard conversation that everybody wants to have, right?
Yeah.
If we saw that, the first thing we do is what? All of a sudden we on guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
First thing you're 100% on guard because you got 5 dudes coming over at you. Now, here's the deal. You're gonna watch to see how close they come over there towards you. Are they coming to you or are they going down the street? Right? If they're coming towards you, the first thing you're thinking about is what? Can I get away? Because this don't look like it's gonna be any good. Or what? Do I have enough on me to be able to start taking jokers out? Right? It's just in the mindset that fight or flight response starts to happen. Right? But the thing is that, and the reason why I stopped you was because of what you said. Because you said, I would do the same if I was in the white neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But I never said what neighborhood I was in to begin with, which tells me you were already there was a there was a preconceived notion that this was not happening in a white neighborhood.
No. Wait. No. My point was that I would have the same reaction whether I was in a white neighborhood or black neighborhood.
Right.
That's basically what I was saying.
I understand.
You know,
but I
had
that
to
rewind.
If
we hit that rewind button, that's all I'm saying.
But
listen, go ahead.
Maybe I expressed it in a different way than what I wanted to. But the point that I was trying to make, because remember, you cut me off before I was finished.
I did stop you. Okay,
because of what I heard. I didn't get to finish it. So, but the point I was making was that if I saw a group of people coming at me, and you said, what would be my response? Well, it's based upon what situation I'm in. You see? So, and I was trying to say that if I was in a white neighborhood and a group of white people were staring at me and they all came toward me, I would feel the same way that if I was in a black neighborhood and a group of black people came toward me after staring at me for a while. You know, I would be uneasy about that. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that was my answer there.
Yeah, but you answered the question. You didn't answer a question on color though. You just said people. So that could mean anybody.
Yeah, that's all I said.
Because,
all I said was people.
Because I was just saying that brother Von Bryant, the way he answered the question, he never brought up color he did that after, but the way he answered it, it was a universal answer. Because I don't believe he ever said, well, are they black? Or if I see black people standing on the corner.
No, he didn't. No, that's not my that wasn't my point. My point was we do have these preconceived notions. I'm not saying that he was saying that. You see where I'm going? But when your first response was, you know, and I would do the same thing. It wouldn't matter if it was in a white neighborhood. Did it?
Right.
It goes to it's a preconception, right? It's a preconception that you weren't thinking about a white neighborhood before. You see where I'm going with it? You feel me? That's all I'm saying. And
who wasn't thinking about a white neighborhood?
No,
that's what I was saying. The way he answered the question, it was like it was set as it didn't matter what color it was, because he never pointed out when he answered the question, black, white, yellow, whatever. He just only thing he just said, he said, if I see how the people look at me, he didn't say if I see how the black people look at me. He said if I see how the people look at me, he will do something. I believe that's what he said.
Yeah, but my point is, he started off. He did say that, right? He did say that. The part that he said that, what you saying, he said that first, right? But then he said it wouldn't matter if it was in a white neighborhood.
Oh, okay. So that's
you see what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, why did that come into play?
Oh, okay.
That's the reaction. It would be the same reaction.
No, I know you're saying that. I know you're, but here's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about.
He said since you brought up the white thing, that I see what you're saying.
You see where I'm going now, Vaughn. You see where I'm going, Vaughn. Eric. Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Hey, what's up? What's up, 84?
What's going on?
Not much.
Real quick, Mo Love, I sent you the ability to join the stream through Instagram. So check Instagram, Mo Love. Check Instagram. But yeah, I can continue. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, y'all.
Oh, okay. How you been, man? Let's we go with this conversation. You been all right?
Yeah, I've been all right, family. I've been okay. Blessed, holding it down. Just staying cool throughout this California heat. That's about it. So yeah.
Every time y'all say California heat, man, I just sit up there and I shake my head.
It's
I
different.
wonder how hot it actually gets. I wonder how hot it actually gets over there. And then I was looking at certain places and they'll go, oh, it's 100+ degrees. I'm like, really? In Cali? Really? But cool. I'm glad you're staying cool, man. I'm glad you're staying cool. I really am.
Yeah, I have to. Most definitely.
Yeah. We've had some hot days for sure. Definitely.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But
Yeah.
yeah, back to the
But
conversation.
but let me just say this though, based on our different prejudices, if I could say that, is that how you say prejudices or
Yep.
prejudice?
Yeah.
Okay. Based upon that is how we react sometimes.
It
And
is.
some of it is influenced by stereotypical things. You know what I'm saying? You know,
True. But you have to ask the question though, is the stereotype based on truth, or is the stereotype based on something that's made up? Right.
now let me just answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, and I'm just going to be honest now, you know,
Mhm.
we have created certain stereotypes for ourselves.
That is true.
Do you see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some of these stereotypes are definitely, they're true.
Mhm.
You know,
So
but
it becomes
the sad part about it though, brother Ant, is that we often try to include everyone within that stereotype, and that's
that
just
is,
not the case.
you are 100% correct. But see, but the thing is, my point behind it is that will still determine specific prejudices, right? It will determine specific prejudices on how you deal with certain people, right? It just will. So I am even as a black man, I am more leery of the guy that looks like that's black and looks like he's about to do something crazy, right? Just because he's dressed a certain way. I'm more wary of him than I am the guy that's dressed like he just might be, chilling for the day, right? Dressed like I would be, right? It's a difference in that. But here's the deal. The guy that's dressed like he's just chilling for the day versus the guy that looks like he's good, it could be that guy's more dangerous. But my guard is more down around a person who I don't see to be as a threat versus someone that is. Same thing. You start naming races, you start pulling stuff out, right? There's I could go through tons and tons and tons of things that we have prejudice about, from everything from Asian people to Jewish people to Indian people to Native American people to Hispanic people. You can name certain things that you pull out, right? If you have a Mexican friend that tells you that, hey, come on over to my abuela's house, this and this and this, you automatically, you just know it's going to be good, but it could be some of the worst food you ever had, right? But what do you know? On average, for the most part, all those abuelas can cook, right?
But
That,
it's also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Yeah,
no,
so,
I was going to say, I see what you're saying. It can be prejudice, but it may not be prejudice. It just be a life experience. Meaning, like when Vaughn said, as far as he, like you said, he did bring up white and things like that. When he said, because you never identified, black or white, but it also could be I could just been experiencing what I experienced around because of the atmosphere, not the atmosphere, the social system that I've been around or been in, like the hood. I will be scared or wonder because my experience, but not prejudice. I'm leery on because something happened to me or I seen something. Me personally, I grew up in both neighborhoods, so that's why and I've seen what both neighborhoods have done. So but most likely it still would be an experience, but it has people that had that experience. Their experience turned their emotions into a prejudice thing. This is how they feel because of their experience. Not everybody take it to the prejudice. They just say, I'm living because I was robbed or something. I've been jumped a couple of times, but I'm not prejudiced against my, people.
right. Right. And that's why
So,
when you look at it, go ahead, Vaughn. Go ahead.
well, I wanted to get 84 in here too, because, I don't know if he saw the beginning of the conversation, but, just that whole difference between racism and prejudice,
Mhm.
because I defined racism, the definition I gave earlier was prejudice or discrimination directed at someone based on race or ethnicity. So prejudice was involved or had some involvement
Yeah,
with
race.
racism, right?
Yeah,
So they're
right.
connected somehow.
You
Now,
talk about
not unless we're saying that there's a difference between racism and prejudice. If we are, then hopefully we can, define each one
yeah, it
where we
is.
can
Well,
see the parallel or whatever it is differences. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. I see exactly what you.
But I
And I
wanted to get
think that's
84 in there because he
yeah,
didn't get
yeah,
to respond about the
yeah,
definition of racism and
yeah,
what he sees it to be. Wasn't that the question earlier, Brother Ant?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Especially with
mhm,
what is racism.
Yeah.
yeah, mhm,
So 84, you have the floor.
I I believe that that racism is something that is clear, and I think it's something that we see. I think um, and it's based on like you said, the discrimination and prejudices and things of that nature. Um, I feel like within our group of people, we've been sold the dream of diversity or even democracy. These things are false pretenses, and they only exist when they want our money and resources. They don't exist when it's for our productivity. You know what I mean? When we really try to, be productive or try to grow as a people, it's always an excuse. It's always a method, whether it's redlining or other methods that we know about that tries to stop us from going and actually having um, real communities, real growth, real families. Um, and it really stops us from having productivity completely as a whole. And I think that we have to see that. I think we got to see that, um, you know, they're only selling us, an American dream or westernized dream of things that other cultures know and do and pursue, even if it means that they have to step on someone's neck in order to get to move forward, because they will do it, and they don't care who cares about it or what. So if there's somebody of a different culture and they work in the industry and they want the people of that culture to be in that industry, they will do whatever it takes to make sure that happens, even if lives are lost, even if lives are impacted. They don't care. You know what I mean? They're not thinking about that at all. But we are always forced to be the good guy or to have a moral compass or to think about God or to think about diversity, all these other things. But when they want a job or they want, like I said, they want to get a career field in any industry, they're not thinking about that. They come into our own communities and build, industries and stores and factories and everything else. You know what I mean? Without our permission, without our approval, without our say so. You know what I mean? And it just is what it is, and we just put up with it. But if we try to do the same thing within their community, it may be a problem. It may be an issue. Even with us trying to live in certain communities, we know that there may be a course of action where they may try to make it very uncomfortable for us. We know this already. We've done our research. We've seen the history. So I think by us knowing these things and us being knowledgeable of these things, that we have to do for self, and we have to do what's best for our people and what's best for us completely. You know, I think as far as what we believe or um, what part of Christianity we or what part of doctrine is that we hold on to, we can always have the discussion. Once we get our resources and our communities and our families together, we can always backtrack to that. You know what I mean? Because I know we all coming from different points. I know people of color who are Catholic. I know people of color who are Baptist. I know some who are non-denominational, who are Protestant, who are all types of things. Right? We can always have the discussion, right, of how Christ really designed for us to live and what his expectations are, right? And we can go back and forth and have debates and like we do on Friday, and even what we may do tonight, right? But especially on Friday, you know, when we discuss religious doctrine, even what we do on Sunday on Mo Love Channel. Salute to Mo, let's go Mo. Um, but yeah, you know, what I mean, whatever we gonna have the discussion on doctrine at any time. But I think in the state that we in, we just have to unite, deal with the racism, deal with the bigotry, deal with the things that we see that are holding us back, and then move forward. You know what I mean? Understand it. Don't use it as a tool to stop us. We use it as a tool to motivate us so we can do better and that we can grow. And I land there.
Okay, so let's do that quick segue on that, right? Because you said that we're sold a dream in regards to, and I don't want to, disparage your words there. But you saying when you're saying we were sold a dream, and you say we need to, what in your mind would be the steps to doing things like that?
What would be my steps to kind of move forward, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I think the first step is we have to basically, you know, do what other coaches do as far as making sure we are making and growing our own foods, right? We are medically inclined. We have a sense of protection as far as a police force, a military base. Um, you know what I mean? Because I know in Brooklyn itself, from where I'm from, the Jewish people have their own police. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
I do.
So you know what I mean? We need to have that. We need to have the educational baseline or schools and things of that nature. Medically, we need to have a hospital, if I didn't already say that. And we just need to have different industries, whether entertainment or whatever else, that we know that we can get into that we're supporting for each other. Um, and if we start doing that, then that can make us move forward. But you know, if we continue on this course to wait for others, or we continue this course of where, you know, let's say Big Ant, you have a resource in social media that I can use, but because of my pride and you know my inability to submit my own will, you know, and being able to accept your information or your guidance or your help, and because I want to be the big dog, I can't even accept what you're giving me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm so focused on, oh well, you know, he ain't gonna control me. He ain't gonna do this. It's like, dude, just take the blessing. You know what I mean? Take the blessing that this man is giving you and move forward. And that's the problem with a lot are not able to take the blessing. So for racism and everything else to thrive because we can't even take the blessing. You know what I mean? For instance, Big Ant, you know how to hunt, you know how to build homes and things of that nature. I don't know nothing about that. I'm not a handyman, right? Not at all. That ain't my strength, right? When it comes to technology, I'm pretty good. But I ain't no handyman. So if I needed advice on that, I would go to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to you as a resource. So we got to start using the resources that we have within each other, you know what I mean, in order to help each other to grow and be better. And I'll end there.
Okay, so I would agree with that what you said. Um, but how does that get? Um, hey, ACOG, yeah, that's right. You're supposed to be up here too. Um, drop your drop your email in the chat, and I'll send you the link.
Well, he won't be able to do that, Brother Ant, because he doesn't have a wrench.
Oh, crud!
Yeah.
Dag nabbit.
Well, you can always drop the link and then just drop it only for him. And then we can erase it after put it in the chat.
Yeah, I guess we could do that.
And then,
Or
you
you can
don't
just
have to
let them
let
who you want to
anybody
let
else.
up here. You know, you can drop the
Well,
link in the
that's but
chat if
I
you want to when
yeah,
you
but
up
I
here.
don't. Yeah, I can't
Don't
do
let them
that.
up. I do it all the time.
Let's see here. Let's see here.
Hold on, ACOG. We're gonna drop the link specifically for you, my brother.
Dropping
And
link.
then we're gonna erase it right after that.
Nah, he's pretty. I can't do what 84 was saying a few seconds ago. I can go ahead and just drop the link in there. and then just move on with my life's work after that. Let's see.
I can drop it in there if you can.
There it is. I'm trying to get it to freaking copy paste, man. Like, golly. It's almost like I got a delay on my machine. So I guess I need more memory on my machine. There you go. So, okay, so this is we need another show just for that discussion in and of itself. But we'll put a pin in it because there's some things I would like to get into in that regards, because I've heard people say that, and then but it's gonna lead to, it actually leads back to the conversation that we were just having a few minutes ago, which is in regards to quote unquote stereotypes and prejudices, right? Let's see. He's getting squared away. So as we continue on, right? With this, what I was about to say was with the stereotype and prejudices. I'll ask this question, right? But how truthful are most stereotypes and prejudices? How true are most of those? Throw it to you guys on the panel.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about a stereotype that all Black people eat watermelon, you see, well, that's not true, because a lot of us don't even like watermelon. You see what I'm saying? So you can have different types of, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't necessarily mean it's true for all. Okay, well, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, see, but the thing is, that's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm saying. How much of this?
I love watermelon, so let's not get that twisted. Go ahead.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? It's like how much of stereotypes and prejudices are based on truth versus not. Because when you look at the watermelon thing, was it used in certain racist tropes and everything else? Yeah, because Black people know people eating watermelon, right? Everybody was eating watermelon.
Yes, that's
but
true.
yet and still they made it when they put certain things on TV back in the day, or certain things on different things that you saw from early propaganda and stuff like that, and go back into the times of the Reconstruction period and stuff like that, and they would put stuff out there even until the turn of the century, right? They did stuff like that and tried to make it that this is what black people ate that, and this is how they look when they ate it, right? So we know that's not true because of how many people eat watermelon. So we can look at that and say, yeah, that's a falsity, right? Even though there might be every black person doesn't eat watermelon, number one. Now, when you start doing statistics on how many out of 100 would do it and everything else, hey, I don't know. I couldn't even find that. I wouldn't even check.
I wouldn't even look at that statistic right there. That's just
because it'd be a wasteless time. Because why you know that? Because you could put watermelons in any part of any grocery store, and you can put watermelon and have somebody selling watermelon off the side of the road or whatever else, and you would see everybody and their mama line up, of all races, grabbing that watermelon. So it's kind of that's a racist that was deemed as a quote unquote racist prejudicial trope that we can all pretty much agree about. But when we talk about overall stereotypes and everything else, what's true and what's not, how much of it is true, because the majority of the time you say, okay, specific stereotypes for certain people, it has to be, I think they said, I think if I remember correctly, it had to be like up to 60% for a stereotype. You put a grasp on stereotypes. So like I said, I'd ask the question. What you guys think? We heard Vaughn say about the watermelon. So,
well, yeah, it has to especially when it comes to, because like it says, white people can't dance. They dance stick. They can't move.
okay,
You think
that's one. That's one.
they move like sticks? They don't got no type of.
That's a stereotype.
See,
That's a stereotype.
they created a whole movie about white men can't jump.
Right.
Mhm. I mean, to an extent, yeah. To an extent, yeah. But see, the thing is though, we throw these two words around. It's like the goat. It's like the goat mentality. Everybody can't be a goat. You know what I'm saying?
Especially
And
LeBron James. Go
exactly.
ahead.
So so
Uh-oh, you about to
with
start something, brother.
with that with
Right.
with that being said, we throw these words around frivolously. Like everybody is not racist. A lot of people just go off stereotypes of what they see, and they use those stereotypes to make judgments upon people. So that doesn't necessarily make them racist. It's just when you control certain media platforms and stuff like that, you see certain things, you come
Mhm.
accustomed to what you see. And with seeing this back to back to and constantly, you create a judgment upon, well, you start judging people based on their appearance and stuff. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they're racist. It just means that they're living off the stereotype of what they see. you know um I talked about this racist and prejudice thing before, and especially speaking from the black side, and I was only directing it towards the black side. We
Mhm.
can't be racist. We There's no racist bone in our body, because none of the stuff that, if you look at the definitions, we don't do none of the stuff that's in the definition. So racist, we can't be that. Prejudice, we can't be that, because a lot of times when we make a when we start to judge white people and stuff, we go by the history of what they did to our people. So none of the stuff that we say to them or against them is just irrational thoughts. It actually stems from the past. It stems from what they produce for us. Slavery and all that other crazy stuff that they try to put on us, and so we don't just irrationally say stuff to them about it. It doesn't come from just a place of, this is what it is. Nah, we actually lived and actually had to go through that. Like getting sprayed with water hoses when they're trying to march, having dogs put on them. You can't drink out these water fountains because these water fountains was colored. I mean, these water fountains non-colored. You can't go over this area. You can't go to this school. So when we say these words, these two words, we really got to take into consideration what the actual definition is and what the actual meaning of the words are. With white people, a lot of time white people is, like I said, it's stereotypes that they base their opinion off of. It's not actual facts. Is solely on stereotype. To get a racist white man in this day and age, he would had to be in a position of power. It's not your common everyday white man. Because what the common everyday white man thinks of us a certain way because that's what he's presented. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
and so
Okay.
go ahead, Bonnet.
no,
Yeah,
no, no.
go
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead,
no,
answer.
go one at a time, one time. Go ahead, Vaughn. You started first, and you
Yeah.
go next.
Uh,
He's
Yeah.
moderating the show now.
Right.
I-
No, but
see,
well, what I will say is this, if I could just say this real quick to
uh-huh.
Brother ACOG. You know, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's just I have an issue with a part of it because I've heard that statement before that it's impossible for us as Black people to be racist. And, I have a problem with that because I believe that we can also have a racist type of mentality, and I understand what we've been through as far as slavery is concerned and some of the hardships that befell us due to some of the actions of our Caucasian people. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But at the same time, if we define the word prejudice or discrimination directly at someone based upon their race or ethnicity, you see?
Mhm.
And it's also rooted in the belief that one's race is superior. Now, we do have some people in our culture that believe that the Black race is superior to the white race.
Hebrew
You
Israelite.
see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I believe
yeah.
that, let me just say this and then I'll land it right here. I believe that this racism, it exists on both ends or all of these different ends because there's many ends of the spectrum, right? It's not just a black and white thing. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Some
Oh
people
yeah.
in Indonesia don't like Americans. Yes. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
and that's the funny part. Not to cut you off. That's the
yeah,
funny part about that is because when racism and prejudice only works in America because when I've been I and I'm glad I had a chance to go to like other countries and stuff like that because when you go to other countries they don't label us as black and white, they label us as American, so we get grouped into a whole whether you're white or you're black. They hear us the first thing they say and hear us talk, oh y'all American. Doesn't matter if you live in California or even though like we could tell by where you stay at by the way you talk. It's like as soon as y'all heard me talk, oh yeah, that boy from Baltimore. That only works in America because when we go to other countries and stuff, they don't even look at it like that. And that's why I said it's funny that you said that, because yeah, when they call us American, they don't say, "Oh, that boy from Baltimore, or this boy from here." Nah, y'all American. Y'all not black and white. Is y'all get the same treatment?
yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that's true.
I, I, I I
I'm
think,
sorry, go ahead.
To a degree.
yeah, I think, yeah, that's to agree. I think the way, especially what Vaughn was saying, the path that he was on, I believe a Black person can be racist and prejudiced, but what you're saying, yes, when they can, we speaking within a social construct system when it goes by a color code. Then yes,
Okay.
then what you're saying is absolutely right as far as within the color code system. But outside of that system, yeah, Black people can be racist and prejudiced. It's just like what Vaughn was going into details about. And as far as other countries, it depends on the country, and it also depends on what part within that country. Because we know China was very racist against the Nigerians because they was Black. And in that part of China where they lived, it's where the Europeans took over. And they act just like the Europeans. They racist, they look at the Europeans as a superior, but they was racist against the Nigerians because they was Black.
And
And
what's
they
going on
mixed
in Israel? Look at
and,
what's
and,
going
and
on in
mixed
Israel.
right. So you got Israel, racist against the Ethiopians and Americans that went over there. So Yes, that it's some countries that's not, that you're right. My mom, she lives in Thailand, and yes, like you said, they group us all, Americans, black and white, but she'd have seen in Thailand, the black Thailands, I forgot the names, what they call them, they are prejudiced against them. And they do look at black people as the way it's in the United States, because what United States started, it spread it throughout the world. Black people are looked at. They know about how black people was treated and how black people are looked at. They look at them having a certain skin tone, and that skin tone is, they believe they above the blacks in America because of their skin tone and where they live. Even they come from another country, they look at us, their skin tone. I am white and I'm from this country. I got a high light skin tone, so I know since I'm in this country, I'm above a black person because of the way the color code is constructed.
May I say something?
Sure.
Okay.
It's open debate.
Um, as you guys know, I always say things that are insightful. I try to be funny, but yet I am controversial as well.
If it gets too
Um,
bad, we'll cut your mic.
but I do love you
Is it?
guys.
Wait a
So
minute. Isn't
HCLG
there
Club
amendment
podcast. Good to see
about
you on
that
here,
or
brother.
something?
Um, but I think we have to get out of this notion of us not accepting that genetically we do have things that are different from other races. And genetically we do have some superiority in a sense. If we look at the case of Henrietta Lacks or any other case where our own organs, our own our own melanin and everything else allows us to, be at a point where we genetically are able to, you know, sustain or even produce things that other races cannot. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't mean that we should think that, they are the scum of the earth or anything like that. I don't think we should do that. Because there have been people of other cultures that have helped in our progression in this country alone. If we look at the Quakers, right? Anybody
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong on my
Nope,
terminologies.
you
I'm
you
okay
you
with
you
that.
you putting it through.
Um,
You
You're
good?
right.
the Quakers, I believe, is a group of white people who were helping, those who were enslaved to seek refuge, right? So there have been people of other cultures that have helped us and even put their lives on the line, even lost their lives to help us. So we definitely have to be aware of that. But we also have to be aware of the times where they have taken our organs or they have, you can look at the story of Miss Evers boys, you can look at Henrietta Lacks, you can look at a lot of different stories of history where we were basically used as experiments because genetically we were different. Our blood types were different. Everything, or our blood was different. Our organs were different. So we can't overlook that, but we also can't see other cultures as bad, no matter what a part of the diaspora we're in. And as Big Bro Von Eric was saying, it all depends on which country you're in and how they view people who are melanated or people who are who they may deem as colored. Salute to my sister KMA. Or whatever they may deem you as a person who is part of the African diaspora. We know that there's prejudices and racism around the world. Um, but like I said, we have to deal with it from a point where, yes, we may feel emotions, but in that emotion, we can't let it be to the point where it brings detriment to us as a people or to us individually. You know what I mean? Um, it's like no, just because somebody's racist, that don't mean that you automatically have to strike them down or get them out of here. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that. You know what I mean? That we don't want to come to that to those means to an end. But sometimes it may just take a conversation, or sometimes diplomatically, you may have to just build, on your own and not worry about, other people's or other cultures or whoever else trying to excuse me, infiltrate you or stop you. You know what I mean? So, and at times that may be a lonesome road for our people, but I believe we can do it if we all stick together and work together. Um, and I'm also agree with ACOG Club podcast that some places that you do go, they do look at you just as American. You know what I mean? That is true. That is definitely true. I've heard that from a lot of places around the world. So I think everybody has some truth in what they're saying. And yeah. You know, salute to Brandon. I see you in the building, bro. You know what I mean? Thanks for everybody in the comments, you know, who definitely have been supportive. Great conversation, guys. I really enjoyed this. So yeah.
I'm glad you do. Glad you do. I'll say this because as a person who has traveled a lot and everything, um, depending on where you go, yeah, you're correct. They do look at you as they group you into just as an American, right? Now, depending on how you act there, will normally determine from that point going forward how they treat you, right? If you go in and you move the correct way and you're respectful of the culture that you're in for the most part, you have no problems. They'll treat you well, and every hunky dory. The one thing I have seen is the uptick in uh, overseas, where it's not real. Their problems is not really a when it came down to race, is not really the quote unquote uh, black white thing. That doesn't really play there, like it does here, or like it does even in like Canada, for example. That doesn't play well there as much as it is they're having problem with different races altogether. So there's been an uptick in things happening, especially in Europe, with the people that came over from the Middle East, you know, in air quotes, seeking asylum, and also from those who came up from the northern Africa areas of Egypt and mainly Egypt and Somalia, that's moved into the areas and that are it's the things that they are doing over there is causing issues with the natives that are in that area, and there's been this big uprising and uproars and things that are happening in that regards on a truly racial scale, not a like Von said, Von Eric said, not on a colored scale, not on a color scale, but on a true racial scale. And that even comes in with people who are of different colors but are native to the land that they were born in versus those who came in under the quote unquote seeking asylum situation, right? And so there are areas that that plays in, but to ACOG's point, we were talking about. That's why I threw up we had talked about racism in that definition. It's literally believing that your race is superior to other races, and to the point that you live that in a way where you consistently look down upon those who you consider to be inferior, right? And I named some names, some people from way back in the day, like a Senator Byrd, to even up to today, like a Nick Fuentes, right? Which is odd because he spews white supremacy to a whole lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he got a Mexican last name. So I don't understand how that works. But
yeah. That's
uh,
nuts to me. But I think Thomas was. Remember Thomas from South Carolina? What was his name? Thomas, the senator. He was racist, but not prejudiced. He was racist. He was like he was around when Byrd was around.
yeah. So that's a good kid. That's a good call, right? Very,
Mhm.
very, yeah, very racist. Wasn't
Yeah,
So
really
he was racist, but not prejudiced.
right.
can I ask y'all this, right? I want
Uh-huh.
to ask y'all this because I want everybody's take on this. And this is how I feel. This is how I feel. What all right, so I play a lot of Call of Duty, right? I play a lot of Warzone. And the point of Warzone is you gotta be the last team
Uh-huh.
at the end, but when
Man, I
the
was hoping you
ring
say team deathmatch, ACOG. Ah.
nah Warzone. But you
Okay.
gotta be the last team inside the ring when the ring closed. So once your
Oh,
team
I know about that. Okay, go for it. Go.
okay, yeah. So I always said, I would want black people to be the last ones. I wouldn't want black people to get used up all the way to their extinct and then another race is the last race to survive, and then they laughing at us like, yeah, we used them black people up all the way till we couldn't use them up no more, and now you mean we finally got rid of 'em. Like, wouldn't you want your team to be the last ones to survive?
Facts.
I don't care who answers it first.
I would
To
say
take
this.
No,
it.
no, you're right. You're right, bro. I think we should we all want that in the essence. You know what I mean? And I think that no matter what part of the diaspora we're in, whether we are in the motherland itself, whether we're here in the Americas, whether because we're all over, whether we're in the UK, um, Australia, anywhere else, right? Some of us are in Central America, South America, the Caribbean, Latin America. No matter where we're at, you know what I mean? We should all want each other to win. We should all want each other to be better. But a lot of times, because especially with us in America, because we have a lot of technology, or even those of us in the UK, and we have a lot of or even in Asian territories, there's a lot of technology and a lot of advancements in society. For those who don't have those things, right? They may look at us as arrogant, or they may look at us as a certain way, right? Or we may even look at certain other people who are not in America as arrogant or whatever else, right? But what we got to see is that when one of us makes a stride, we all make a stride. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's where the unity comes in, because no matter the part of the diaspora that we're from, we deal with a lot of the same issues. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They may come in different forms or in different variations, but we all deal with the same issues, and we got to see that. You know what I mean? We're not each other's enemy, and if we don't see that, then yeah, we're gonna fail. And we got to see that just because somebody's from somewhere else, it doesn't make them better or worse. You know what I mean? And what the thing is that we just have to have we all have to have a humbleness and a willingness to understand each other and love each other. You know what I mean?
Word.
And that makes a difference. But and I think that if one of us has more, then and that person who has more is willing to share, as I said before, take the blessing. You know what I mean? If you got a
Hmm.
family member, and let's say they're a millionaire ACOG, or they're a billionaire, they're like, hey man, I'm gonna share my resources with you. I'm gonna share my money with you. It would be foolish to say no, right?
Word. Word.
Especially if they're coming with
Do it
love.
myself.
And even if
Hmm.
they're not, right? Let's say you giving, they're like, hey, look, if it don't work out, whatever money and resources I give you, you're free to have. It'll be foolish of you to say no, right? But this is what we
Hmm.
do. We say no because of our ego and our pride, or us not understanding, or us feeling away, or us being afraid, right? Or us thinking that we have to stick in the things that we don't have to. You know what I mean? Too many of us are loyal to communities, blocks, locations, countries, pseudo cultures,
Hmm.
instead of
No,
just
that's
being
true.
loyal
Yeah.
to growing and being better. You know what I mean? And loving each other. So, and if for
Hmm.
those who don't, for those of us who have more, we can't look at for those who may have less, right? Because even though they may have less, there may be things that they have that money that our money cannot buy. You know what I mean? And there may be things that we can
Hmm.
learn from them that our money and resources can't buy, or give us, the ability to get. So yeah, and I land there.
Well, I'll say this on my end. Oh, well, Von Eric, you wanted to chime in?
No, I could go after you. Go ahead. I can go after you.
No, hey, guest first on in
Okay.
the house. So I'll let you
Okay.
go for it.
It depends on what lens you're looking at it, looking through. If you're going to go by a color code lens, when you say black people, I don't, that would be hard to do because, as the saying goes, all black folks are not kin folks. So they may not be want to be part of your team, or because they see things differently. I would do as far as the team. I would go by what's the guy that was on the Black Panther that died at 21? What was his name? Anybody remember his name? Uh, Detroit. What was his name?
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
Oh man, they
It's
just
sitting right there at the tip of my forehead, man.
well,
Don't worry,
I,
Bolo will put it in there in a couple seconds.
well, that guy from the Black Panthers, the young guy, he formed a coalition called the
You talking
Rainbow.
about Fred Hampton?
Yeah, Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton
Yeah.
formed a coalition called the Rainbow before Jesse Jackson, because Jesse Jackson took it from.
Yeah, he co-opted.
Yeah.
He's
And Fred Hampton had a group of people, but he had a group of people from all race within there, and he sent them out to America, outdoor America. So I would want my team to be like that, because we know white people fought side by side with black people. They did not bring themselves onto a color code system. And in some places, we all know deacons of defense. When they went out through middle America, Kentucky, and the mining areas, they had white people fighting side by side when the Ku Klux Klan came through that town. So I would want my team, yes, I would want that type of team, and on my side, a group of people that look at one another as one. I wouldn't. I would stand as, Lamunda from Congo. I'm Stephen Biko from South Africa. I would stand with those freedom fighters and among those freedom fighters that came together. Well, it was a woman that seen Martin Luther King on TV and decided to go and march with him and end up getting killed. So, and it's just not just white, blacks, and other. So yes, I would want that type of team on my side, and yes, I will fight for that team and make sure they are protected.
Amen.
Mr. Vaughn, you back?
And Big Bro, we know. I just want to say this real quick to what Big Bro said real quick. We know that everyone can't go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for those who
Amen.
can't go, it's because they're not willing to go. If
Right.
they're not willing to go, that's on them, right?
Mhm.
So
No, because I said that before. I said that before. I said we would have to clean out our own backyard first before we can really make any progress on doing what Von Eric said. We would have to clean out our backyard first, because there's gonna be a lot of people. Like, we do have this crab in the barrel mentality that we have yet to shape.
Yeah, that's true. But we should not. We have to make sure we should not just apply that to black people, though, because crab in the barrel is in every race. We
Yeah.
seen that. We seen that at January 6th. The Proud Boys of the South was against the Proud Boys of the North, snitched on them.
Mhm.
So it's just that we know we got in other race they got crab people, So
Yeah.
we do have to work on stop just applying things to black people, because all other race does it. We see it every day.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But I think the problem is, Big Bro, is the simple fact that those other coaches may have disagreements, right? Or they may not see things eye to eye, but they're not gonna let them stop their bottom line as a culture. You know what I
What's the
mean?
Well, but
what?
they
And I
have, to
think
your
and I
point.
think that's the difference. So you may have Koreans that may not agree, but if it comes down to us or them, they're gonna choose their people. They're gonna choose their people because whether it's through a religious aspect or a spiritual aspect or even just culturally wise. You know what I mean? They'll fight out amongst themselves later, or they'll have disagreements later, or whatever, or sit at the round table have disagreements like the United Nations. But when it comes to us, they're gonna make sure that we don't get it.
No,
You know what I mean?
I want to make sure that we don't get it. That's true, but that's that other race still. You saying black people? It's black people that still at the bottom line will fight for black people, just like you pointed
Exactly,
out.
yes.
But it's just not you saying. But you just saying as far as what Asians do. It was a woman that right there with Malcolm X when he got unalive. She did not go back to her race. She been fighting civil rights all this time. She wasn't with her race.
Well, that's
Chinese.
so.
No, I'm not arguing
So,
with you, big
so
bro. Remember, I brought up the Quakers and how they were helping us as well,
Well, let
right?
me.
So I'm
So,
not saying that
hold,
doesn't
hold,
exist.
hold
Right,
on,
right.
guys. Hold on, guys.
Mhm.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Let's let Vaughn say his piece real quick.
yeah, let me just say this real quick. You know, I believe that we're too much we're divided. You see what I'm saying? We're too divided to make it in that circle or whatever you call it before it closes. You see, if we had more unity within the culture, you know, and some people say the culture is dead. You know what I'm saying? And we see that there is a demise that we are seeing of the culture. You see, so I believe that, of course, am I a little biased when it comes to my brothers and sisters? Well, I would definitely be honest and say yes, because I want to see all of us succeed. But I don't know a lot about what is that Call of Duty. You know, my son knows a little bit more about it than I do. But I will say that circle that you talked about,
That
that we all
last
need to be,
ring. That's
yeah,
that last ring.
yeah, that last ring that you spoke about, that we all need to be in before whatever closes. Well, we're too divided for that. You see what I'm saying? If we could just be on one accord, perhaps we could move better as a people, you know, as a race of people. And
Yes,
I'll leave it there.
I
Well,
agree.
I'll
I
say
agree with
Exactly.
that.
But
I'll say this, and this is one of the things that we have to understand. If it's me, I don't care. Um, and here's why: I want people I can depend on. Doesn't I'm kind of with Von Eric on that one. I want people who I can depend on, who has my back, and I have theirs. That's how it works. Because those are the people. Doesn't matter what race they are. Those are the people that through thick and thin that's going to hold it down for you, and you never have to really worry. Now, could there be a Judas in there? Yeah, Jesus had a Judas. You know this,
yeah.
right? But the fact of the matter is, I would rather have a group of people that I know that I can count on 100%, not only for me, but even for my family. I would rather have that than deal on something because of somebody's race. I've seen it. I used to run in those circles a long time ago, and I realized that it was built a lot upon vanity. It really was. Um, I heard a conversation, and this is to Vaughn's point. I heard a conversation that a guy was having. I don't know if you saw it, but the fact of the matter, the in America, the black culture is not dead. It's just undefined. It's undefined, and because it's undefined, everything gets thrown into this huge gumbo pot, and it's called black culture. But yet and still, it's undefinable, right? For example, 84 brought up the Koreans. When you look at what the Koreans do, and you look at that's why you can go to areas, and it's called what? It's called Koreatown. They are segregated unto themselves. All of the money gets circulated throughout the community, through all of the different businesses and everything else. All of that happens before it even leaves and goes outside of the community. That's why it's Koreatown, right? People come in there, they buy stuff from outside of Koreatown. They come in there and they get the food, and they buy the different items, and they think it's all good and all this other stuff, and then they move on. But guess what? For them, it's life in Koreatown. We grew up on this food. We grew up on these things. We grew up on these places, right? This is our culture, right? You have people that leave, they always come back. You have people that go and they come back. Every time they look at one of their family gatherings, you might have some people that are just all out the wazoo and everything else too, but they all come back, and there's standards that happens there, right? You see the same thing, right? That's why you go to every major city and you got a what? You got a Chinatown, right? You go to every, what you call it? You got the barrio or Little Mexico or whatever this may be. But you have these cultures, and they might be from different areas of Mexico, but they know where they want to go to. If they want to get food from Mexico City or Oaxaca or wherever, Guatemala, not Guatemala, Monterey, whatever the case may be, they know where they can go and get the food, right? Of their country, and they find other food that they like, and they cook it different, but it's pretty much all of the same, and they learn. And so, kind of like I mentioned earlier, you talk about going to somebody's abuela's house to eat. Guess what? You gonna go to somebody's house to eat. and most of the time they're gonna cook food from their homeland and from their areas in their homeland, right? And you're gonna enjoy, you'll have fun, and you eat, and everything will be hunky dory, right? But guess what? Their money circulates in their environment too. And then when it leaves, it goes out. People come in and buy stuff. People come in there and get their food. And then when the people leave, their money still circulates within the community for the most part. Those places have their own banks and their own finances and all this other stuff. You see areas like Little Italy. You see areas like it's not just in Brooklyn. There's a lot of places in a lot of major metropolitan cities where the same thing that 84 brought up, where you have an area with nothing but Jewish people, and that's the Jewish stores, and that's the Jewish, and it's caters to them for when they do things on the Sabbath, and it casts the special foods for them, and all of these other different things happen, right? They walk the synagogue every Sabbath, stuff like that. The whole community of that. But you know that when you pass through there and you go in there, or go buy the food or go buy whatever.
And to add to your point, Big Ant, the food is called kosher. Kosher
It is
food.
called kosher. Yes, it is called kosher. And so when you go there, you get that even in the Black community itself, you can go to areas and get Nigerian food, and those people are Nigerian or Jamaican food, and it's Jamaican, or sometimes it might even be called Caribbean. And they might do some Jamaican, they might do some Guyanese, they might do some, some stuff from off the Virgin Islands. I mean, it just the Trinidad. I mean, it might be a mix of it, but it's the people of the islands know about that food, and it sits in that area, right? But even at that, we know that's an aspect of, but still, Black culture is undefined.
Mm-hmm.
You said
And this is undefined.
undefined.
You cannot pinpoint, unlike what you see in those others that I mentioned. You can't point at Black culture and say this is Black culture.
Exactly.
You really can't do that. You can see stuff in America. Yes, you can't.
That was the reason why I was asking. Like, that was kind of the reason why I was asking that question. I love my Caribbean people, bro. Look, I went to and I'm sorry to segue off like this
No.
though, but I went to Cayman Islands, the Grand Cayman Islands,
Mm-hmm.
and I got locks and stuff, and I'm walking through, and it was hot, it was blazing, so I had jumped up in a palm tree and took a big old palm leaf, and I tied it up in my head, and it was like draped. Though it was draped over me. I'm gonna I'll send Bolo the picture so he can show y'all. It was draped over me, and everywhere I went at, people would come out and they would greet me as if I was from there. It was just amazing, and my wife was like, "That's crazy! Like they talk to you like you from here." And I'm like, bro, it just I met a dude named Buddy. We was talking for hours out there. I had bought him some beers and stuff. He had went in. This when I was smoking. Yeah, when it got me some herbs. I was like, man, bro, it's like you always meeting people. I like, I can't help it. He was calling me Rastafari. It was funny.
Yeah, but the thing is, because you embrace the culture,
Yeah.
right?
But that was the Caribbean. That's out. See, define Black culture here in America. We could define it. Let's use an example. Hip hop.
No.
Hip hop is a mix. Yes, it is. Hip hop is a mixture of different cultures rolled up into one.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
Black. What's
Stop
that?
right there. What you just said is a mixture of a bunch of things rolled into one.
Right.
Okay.
That's our culture.
That's not everyone else.
No. You said
it's
no. That's not everybody. That's true. That's not everybody else. You said define Okay, that
No,
I
I
ain't
said
talking
it
about
was.
what
I said it
everybody
was
said.
actually undefined.
Okay, I'm
Undefined.
undefined, and I'm saying I just defined it though. I said black culture, right here in America, is mixtures of cultures into one. The reason why black has a culture because look at the people. You got hip hop bringing everybody together. Everybody is trying to rap. In other cultures,
But then you
they're
had the
trying to rap.
period where jazz brought everybody together.
Everybody together.
Do you see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So yeah, there were
Look at
different eras
right.
in our culture has different
Exactly.
eras.
But
You
And,
know what
and
I'm saying?
but I'm
but
saying
notice what
is
you're saying.
I'm saying wait
But
a minute.
Go
Let
ahead.
me finish. I'm saying is when you try to define black people into one, you would get a undefined answer. Yes, I agree. It's undefined. But once we came here, because remember, you use Chinatown. Chinatown's not all Chinese. They're all people, different Asians that live in Chinatown, and they got gangs in Chinatown. They are
Not
against one
saying that.
another. But I'm
Yep,
saying
you're
is
correct. You're correct. Yes.
look how Chinatown came. You look how they came together. Is one of the reasons why black people came together here in America. Because remember, when they came and shipped us from Africa, many of us was from different tribes,
Yes.
and we came together because of what? Slavery. Because
Yes.
we was all together in one accord because what we was going through, the tragedy we was going through,
Mm-hmm.
just like in Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
They came together, right? Even though they from different parts, because some of them in Chinatowns are against each other, even in their own country, they are against each
Yes.
other. So
Yes.
I'm saying is defining black people, just like Vaughn just said, jazz. Look at Nat King Cole when he was on there, how he brought all black people together. Harry Belafonte, you got Michael Jackson, you got all these things that black people are, and just 84 even said they steal from us. Who are they stealing from? Our culture, which we had brought together, and they came and took it. Our culture is a mixture of culture. That's our defined culture.
I would say
we
more
are
along.
my fault.
Mhm.
No, I would say more along the lines of they took what we were good at. They took the things that we did well, and you can say they co-opted it, they stole it, whatever else you want to say in regards to that, and you would have a true statement. But the deal is what I'm trying to, what my point I'm getting at on there is when you look at all of those things, the closest black people, which is sad to say, but the closest that black people had to a true set up of culture was doing segregation when they had to be exactly what they
Mhm.
were, right? So they provided for each other. They had their own community. They had their own banks. They had their own hospital. They had their own butcher shops and grocery stores and all of these different things that were all good. But the deal is that they were sold the lie that white ice was better.
Mhm.
And it
You said
became
they were
more,
sold that. You said they
huh?
sold. You said they
They
say
were
it again.
sold the lie
Mm-hmm.
that white ice was better.
Okay, and you said that's when the division came.
That's when the downfall became.
Yeah,
That's why you
I
stop
can
seeing.
I can
That's when
agree
you
with
stop.
that.
That's when you stop seeing all of the things that you were seeing before.
Do you
Right?
believe that? Do you believe are you saying that's the only, or that's the
No, no, no,
foundation?
no,
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 that's
no,
a
no.
foundation.
That's
Integration.
I
integration was the big downfall for, because if you remember, if you go back and you look, it was never initially about segregate about integration at all.
Mhm.
It was the whole separate but equal thing was what the big thing was. It was all about, hey, I pay my taxes too. We're not
Mhm.
getting the goods and services that our taxes demand.
Mhm.
We want our stuff. We need our stuff just like those people across town need their stuff. Right.
Right.
So
Right.
when they went over there and they did have bigger, they did have, you had your massive stores and all this other stuff. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that kind of life thing was way better than what people have now, all this other stuff. I'm not saying that. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is that foundation of
Mhm.
exactly what you see in uh Mexican barrio, within a Koreatown, within it, existed for black people.
I
Because
see
if
what
you
you.
remember what Harlem was, and that whole Harlem Renaissance, it was something special, right?
Yeah.
That whole layout for everything, it was well known. It was a place of class. It was a place of Apollo was well known. All
That's
of these
true.
different things happened, and it was
Yeah.
not just in New York. It was throughout the U.S.
Mm.
But when integration, the whole need to be integrated happened and was pushed and was excelled, then all of that stuff began to be
I think you.
began to be wiped out.
I
And
see
when you
what-
start at, and then when you put in the welfare state, it put a bullet in everything.
They started to see that they can use us as consumers, and we could buy what they was presenting because of
But
that.
everybody
And
was
that's what
I
but
see.
but even at
that's
that,
where the I
Go
would
ahead.
say, but that's where the money started leaving the communities
Right.
that we built.
well,
I see.
but if you don't spend it where you are,
Right.
Yeah.
right, and you're spending it outside of the area that would make it a viable place for your community.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Big Ant. But I still think that I don't think that's the strongest foundation on it. I think it's one. I think because like what did Martin Luther King said, I'm afraid that I led my people into a slaughter, because like you said, he was trying to
Yeah.
integrate. But I don't think that's I think it is in some cases, but I don't think it is in
yeah, but
many.
he
They
started.
they
I
sold
just
him
advise
they
y'all.
sold him a dream.
Right,
They
right.
sold him a dream that he sold to us.
But
And it
But I
kind
think it's important. I think it's one important thing to make sure that we also talk about. You got a book called Sundown Towns, where they said, which was the U.S. was a part of destroying up to 10,000s of black towns that was separated and doing things on their own. You have to understand. You have the government, not just the federal. You have the state. You have different government systems that was put things in place, which the United States has admitted to separate black towns.
All right, but
Do
now
that.
let me
ahead,
cut in
Vaughn.
there.
Go ahead.
Can I cut in there real quick?
Oh yeah. Vaughn,
Okay.
floor is yours.
And this is where the conversation is going to take a drastic shift. so buckle your seatbelts. Because now he's brought up another part of the topic, which is systemic racism.
And we're not doing
And I believe Brother Ant wants to question whether or not that exists or not.
No, I don't want to question where it exists.
No. I don't know. I know you had posed the question. Is it a spoof or? Remember you said something earlier.
Oh, I did. But you know what?
So let's have the discussion, because some people believe that systemic racism basically doesn't really exist.
Nah.
And it's part of our imagination.
Guess what?
Nah, that's false.
Guess what? Guess what? Same bat time, same bat channel, baby.
Why you gonna do us like that, Brother Ant?
I'm not.
You segued. I was gonna say, okay, guys, we got to get ready to wrap it up. We've been here almost 2 hours because I got to do a few things before I call it to an early day tomorrow. So,
okay,
but
well, let's
no,
start with
that is actually going to be the next. I told you this whole show, this segment that we're doing.
Yeah, this was great.
Like one of those segments that you can't do it all in one night unless we sit here
till
like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
right?
for real.
I'm at the 2 hour window, and I didn't want to. I wanted this show to be about an hour and a half long.
Wow!
And I'm already at the 2 hour window. So,
but
what I
was
will
wishful
say,
thinking.
Hey man,
wishful thinking.
I knew
in with this topic.
I told you. But we're gonna. The deal is about this panel and this show is that we are going to hash this out, and we're going to have these discussions, discussions that we need to have, not as people in general, and even as Black people specifically, right? Not specifically. Shout out to Scorch. But he's not here to defend himself. He'll get it on replay. But yes, I want to have the conversations because this is a deep conversation. Yeah. And this is a conversation to be had, not with, screaming and yelling and
right,
banging tables and, you know,
Yeah.
black man is God, and but all this other crap,
Yeah.
right? We're not doing all of that. We want to have the exact conversation that we've been having
Yeah.
tonight,
Mhm.
and we
Well,
want
I
to
guess
keep
it's a
that going.
cliffhanger then.
It
Well, yeah,
is
Oh, yeah.
cliffhanger
Yeah,
hanging
I'm
from a cliff.
definitely gonna be
It's a
here for
cliffhanger, brother.
yeah,
Because
I'm definitely
systemic
gonna be
racism,
here
man. Listen,
for that one. Yeah.
I,
ACOG, shoot me your email address,
I
and
got you.
for all those who want to be part of the panel next week, send me an email, and I will put you. I'm throwing my email into the chat. Send me the email, and I'll put you into the panel.
It's in
do
the
you want to?
private
Can you
chat.
post it on the banner?
Tell me
Can
who
you
your tell me what your handle is
It's in
on
the
the chat.
private chat now.
Yeah. Okay.
And listen, brother Ant, can you post that on the what do you call that thing that when you put it up on the screen?
Are you
The
talking
banner.
about?
Yeah, can you put your email up on the banner? Can you post that on the banner?
Yeah. Let me throw that on
In
there.
case,
Hold on a
because
second.
sometimes when people come and listen to the playback, they don't really see what happened in the chat.
Got you. That
Yeah.
you are 100% correct. Well, you're 100% correct.
Yeah, you know, I try to help.
There you go.
This. Oh, I just want. I do
Go
agree
ahead,
with
Mo.
you. I
Go
do
ahead.
agree with y'all was what you were saying, because I was going back one time. Well, I spent about months ago. I was talking to my mother. I said that was one of the thing that really hurt us with Martin Luther King, and then was trying to get keep them bad boys.
Bruh.
Once you did that, you became under a system. Keep
Real
that bad
talk.
boy separate.
I
Why-
always said, not to cut you off though.
No,
I
go ahead.
always said like we messed up. We messed up at that point in time because you know we was turning the other cheek. No war is fought by turning the other cheek. Like you can't win a war by turning the other cheek.
Not
Like and the reason why we couldn't progress is because we didn't fight back. Had we would have fought back, I think it would have went a different way. But you know, that's here nor there. We wouldn't be able to know. But I really feel like had we fought back at that time instead of going with the turn your other cheek, I think it would have played out a little bit different.
Or why? If they don't want you to catch the bus, get your own bus. Which
Exactly.
they did have the money to get their own
But
bus.
no. But listen. Show you just how bad it was. They did have their own bus.
Oh, they
They
did?
had their own bus line.
In Tennessee?
There was a black bus line.
Oh, it is?
Yes, there was
I
a
didn't know.
black bus line that was all over the South.
Oh, I
And
did. I didn't.
even in Alabama, there was a black bus. Go listen to I think it was Claude Anderson. He did an interview on the Breakfast Club,
Okay.
and he was talking about how his family owned one. His
It-
family
it-
owned one.
You know what's interesting is that we had to
I didn't know that.
have so many things in place for us to, you know, survive and get around. You know, I don't know if
Yes.
any of you are
But
familiar with the movie Green Book, but you know, we even had to have a little book that
Yeah.
that showed us a map of different ways to travel on the road.
Yeah, I
So that we
remember that.
didn't get caught up in the wrong places. You see
Uh-huh.
what I'm
it was
saying?
a travel
Wow.
book it was a travel book that said these are the areas that either A allows black people to stay, that was basically considered to be
Exactly.
non-segregated,
Restaurants.
or there was like which ones they were within certain areas, that so you judge the time on where you stopped, and you can stop at these certain, you planned your trips accordingly, right?
Exactly.
But a lot of that, if you that's what most people fail to understand, a lot of that was only South only, right? It was only
Yeah.
when you got to a lot of the northern towns,
Yeah.
northern states, excuse me, that wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
It really wasn't,
They were a little more
because
lenient.
it was very much so, because
Yeah,
there
'cause
was
here in
not
Baltimore, here in Baltimore, we ain't had to worry. Well, even in Maryland, parts of Maryland, yeah, you ain't had to worry.
yeah. When you started going, as you started heading out west and stuff like that, you really didn't have any problem. It was mostly a southern thing. If you traveled around like Tennessee and Tennessee and Arkansas, Mississippi,
Definitely Mississippi.
Alabama,
Louisiana.
Georgia. No, not really as much. It depends on what part of Louisiana. Nope. It
Oh,
was
you talk.
not
Oh,
really
so
a
you
thing.
might be talking about French quarters and
I know.
Creole
I'm talking about pretty much all over.
all
It
over
was
Louisiana.
pretty much was not like that.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So it's amazing that you would thought, yeah, it was like fully segregated. Like, no, not
Right.
really. They had
Right.
areas. I mean, you had areas that were quote
Yeah, I
unquote
believe it had areas,
segregated, but it
right.
was like, man, shoot, man,
Because I
we
know like the
we
French
got
quarter.
stuff to do. We got to eat. You
Yeah,
sit
I know
up
the
there.
yeah, I know the French quarters and down there with a lot of the Creoles. Yeah, I know that area, but yeah, that's
Some-
still interesting because the biggest
yeah,
Louisiana is, I'll be thinking of
you
just
would have
about
thought,
all.
nope, mm-mm, nope,
But
because they didn't really, they understood it and they did
Mhm.
stuff because of laws. Nobody really cared
right,
because everybody worked at the same place. Everybody went to pretty much ate at the same restaurant. It was all you had some segregation, like you might have the water fountain thing, but
right.
really and truly, half the time nobody cared. Now, when you got over into the eastern part of Texas, you
Mhm,
saw it, but as you
mhm,
went through the rest of Texas, you didn't.
mhm.
Right.
That's interesting.
So I mean, it
Yeah.
just all depends. It just all depends on where you are and
That's
where
true.
and what you were doing.
That's true. Because
And so,
even Dred Scott, he would have been free because what state did he touch? And once he touched it with his feet, he was supposed to have been free. That's why a lot of people, when it comes to the law, they was like, why he go federal? But since
mhm,
since the person that owned him was a federal employee and he was on federal land, it was some type of insight thing that the reason why
yep,
they went federal. But
mhm,
he could have did it state because once he touched that state ground, he was free.
yep. So I mean,
So
there was a lot of different everything that they. That's one thing I found in my studies of history and everything. Everything that they told you is not true, and then there are things that they didn't tell you that was
that
true.
is, yeah. Oh, it's
And so,
twisted. Truth is
yeah, it's
twisted.
twisted.
They give
So
you
it's like, we'll talk, but we'll talk about we're going to
right,
talk about the whole systematic racism and does
right.
it exist?
And white
Does
supremacy. Don't forget,
no?
we,
That's
we
in
didn't
there
even get
too.
to that part
That's
yet.
it. That's in there too.
So hey,
Let's throw it
listen,
to the
hold on to your
side.
seatbelts, ladies and
Hold
gentlemen.
on to your seat. That's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be a
rough.
shaky ride.
That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
why I
Gonna be a
gonna
say it.
shaky ride.
That's why I say it's same bat time, same bat channel, buddy. But
Wow.
all right.
but guys, I definitely appreciate it. You guys showing up here
Yeah,
tonight.
this was great, man. I really
I,
enjoyed the conversation tonight.
I am
Yeah.
glad you
You know,
did, man. I am glad that you were here. Shout out one. I'm gonna take a quick second, real quick, before we completely end the show. Um, Shout out to um, a man and his family. Vadi Baca passed away, and for those who know,
yeah.
this guy was a big proponent of the gospel. He was a
Say his
big
name again,
proponent.
brother. And say his
Vadi
name again.
Baca.
There you go.
Some people pronounce it Vodi Bakum. Some people pronounce it Vadi Bakum. I remember him saying it as Vadi Bakum. And but he was a big proponent for Christ. He was a pastor. He pastored for quite a while
Yeah.
over in Texas. He was in Africa. He started a school in Africa, and he recently moved back to the States due to some health issues and everything else. And he seemed to be getting along pretty well. So the fact that he passed away really shocked me because I hadn't
Shocked
heard he was
everybody.
even sick. But that guy, that if you get a chance, I will tell you, I will throw his name up in the chat. And if you get a chance, go to YouTube and take a look at his stuff on YouTube. Listen to
Yeah.
him. He is a great theologian. He is a great man of God. And did I agree with everything that he espoused? The answer is no, I did not. Did I agree with a whole bunch of it? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah,
want
but
to
you didn't know.
if you want somebody to break down things as far as scripture is concerned, if you want to have things broken down in regards to um, questions that you might have had in regards to things within the Bible, that man there, hey, he's right up there. He's not on my top 100. He's in my top 5. So,
wow. And that says a lot for Ant.
so you will not be disappointed. And he breaks it down, and you can tell the love and the passion that he has for the Lord, or that he had for the Lord, or that he continues to have for the Lord, because as the scripture says, absent from the body and present with the Lord.
Yeah.
So
You know,
go check his stuff out on YouTube, and pray for his family. He had some young sons.
He had 9 children. 9.
Yeah.
But the youngest is 12.
Yep.
All the way up to adults, you know. So
How old was he?
He's probably close to, I want to say he was close to our age. So I think he was like about 57, I think.
Oh,
something like that.
Wow. That's young.
Yeah. Like I said, he had dealt with some time back, he had dealt with the heart issue.
Peace.
And let me see. I'm trying to see how old it was. How old he was? 56. Passed away at the age of 56.
Oh man.
But listen to his testimony. If you ever have a chance, listen to his testimony. He didn't grow up in the church. He didn't grow up in the church at all. His mom's was if I remember correctly, his mom was like a non-practicing Hindu, something like that. Right.
You ready to say his mom was a hoe?
He wasn't that. But
yeah,
so,
wow.
But yeah, if you get a chance, if you get a chance, y'all check him out. But yeah, him passing.
And you know, I listened to I was able to listen to. Actually, I just heard of him today because a lot of people were affected by his passing, and you know, I was able to listen to a little bit of his teachings this evening, and man, I really liked what I heard. So, you know, I'm definitely interested in hearing more. Unfortunately, you know, he's not here with us, but he seemed like a great man of God.
Oh, he is. He is, and he was, and he still is. But right now, he has a treasure trove of stuff out there. And if you really want to get a really, it's so great. But one of his best sermons that he did was search for his name and then choose why I believe the Bible. That's one of the best sermons I've heard ever. And he gives his testimony in that, and it's great. But yes, check him out again. But anyway, shout out to him. Praises to the Lord who took his servant home, and prayers to his wife and kids and family as they go through this time of grief. Yeah, Brandon. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. But we don't know how much time we got, guys. We never know. And the scripture says only things that are done for Christ will last. Yeah. So
tomorrow's not promised.
That's right. Yeah. So let us be about our Father's business. So, guys, you know, it's great seeing you guys tonight. Shout out to everyone.
Great conversation, gentlemen. Chat. Great conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Salute.
I'm glad you started this. And this is definitely healthy conversation, and you know, we don't get this too much on panels like this, you know. But
we're not at each other's
I already say
we ain't trying to choke somebody out like Homer Simpson doing Bart.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. You know, because listen, we want to get an understanding, you know. And so when you have a group of men that desire to get an understanding, man, come on, you know, that's what makes the conversation have ease. That's what makes it flow the way it does. And even if we disagree, you know, we're still doing it for the purposes of gaining an understanding. So that's the good part about it that I love the most.
Yep.
You know, we can learn a lot from each other just by listening.
Exactly. Well, guys, I definitely appreciate you guys being here. Shout out to 84 who made it up. Good seeing you, bro. But yeah, we just we'll try to pick this up next week and get into the second part of this discussion.
Yeah, let me get my notes together.
Yeah, word, word. I
Let me get my notes
had to
together.
jot some stuff down.
Man.
Iron sharpening iron, baby. So
Oh,
here's
No,
the
that's it.
here's the one thing I want to leave with you guys and everyone here on the panel, so that we actually remember this. Okay, we understand that in Christ there is no Jew or Gentile, no bond or free. Right? Christ in all. And this is the one thing that we must take into example. The only way you defeat this element of racism and prejudice and things of that nature is through Christ. That's it.
Amen.
Because you stop seeing people as a color.
Amen.
And
Amen.
you start seeing people as either A, someone who needs to know Christ, or you see him as a brother or sister in Christ. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So
even though
that
Fred Hampton preached Black Power, he still got all people to come together under rainbow. He still, Steve Biko was the same too. Even though he still brought all people together. That is when the whole system comes back to you. When you're able to bring all people together, Christ, like all people together, that's the scary part. That's scary when you're able to unify like that.
see.
Yeah.
So, guys,
All right
hey,
now.
appreciate you guys for being here. Vaughn, close us out in
Yes,
the word
sir.
of prayer.
Okay. Praise God. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you tonight. We give you the praise and the honor and the glory because it all belongs to you, Lord. And we just thank you for this time of fellowship, God. We thank you for another day, another opportunity that you have given us to get it right, God. And Lord, you know, we want to get it right. We have a desire to be what it is that you are calling us to be for this day and time. And Father God, bless Brother Ant and Brother Vaughn and ACOG and Brother 84, everybody that graced the panel tonight, Lord. Move on their behalfs, Lord. You know what their needs are, their specific needs, as well as those in the chat. And as we leave each other's presence on air, we pray that you walk with us as we walk with you until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, guys. Well, everyone in the chat, have a great rest of your night. Appreciate you guys for coming up here again. And
Alrighty.
like I like to say all the time, it's always keep Christ in the forefront of your life and let the Lord use you as he sees fit. Grace and peace, guys.
Peace.